Denny Chapman was 10. Yep.
Good for him.
I went to Marriott Queen with Denny. And he was like a running machine.
Oh, yeah. He's still the whole family.
Yeah.
Good Friday evening and welcome to Burke Stadium here as we get ready to close out the regular season of high school football here on the Creighton Prep Sports Network. Tyler Reedy and Brendan Preisman here with you for this one. Creighton Prep and Lincoln East in a top 10 matchup, number 4 versus number 9. Brendan, great to be with you one last time this year.
It really is. I mean, it's senior night for us too, and for the playoffs next week, you're going to be out of town in South Bend. I know you're going to have a lot of fun with that because you really like Notre Dame football, but we got Creighton Prep football together for at least one more time, maybe two if there's a big upset next week and Prep gets another home game. Wouldn't that be nice? But there's certainly a chill in the air tonight here, and it's not just the weather. It's senior night for the Junior Jays, and they are looking great. They've won 4 in a row now, including the last 3 by 18 or more points. They are coming into this hot, but so is Lincoln East. They've got a great high-powered offense, and let's just get right into the pregame because there's a lot to talk about.
Oh, yeah, so we're into that part of the season now where the top 10 rankings are great, but it's all about the wild card standings. That is what's going to determine who's in. The top 16 teams get in, and you see the top 12. Prep is 6th right now. Lincoln East is 11th, and there are a couple different scenarios that can play out. It depends on this game and the North Platte versus Columbus game. If Prep wins this game and no other upsets happen, Prep will host Grand Island as the 5 seed next week. If Lincoln East wins and North Platte wins, Prep will host Lincoln Southeast. Lincoln East will visit Omaha Burke. And then if Lincoln East wins and Columbus wins, Prep will host Columbus here, and Lincoln East will go on the road to North Platte. So a lot of different scenarios could play out in this game. Certainly one of those coin flip type of games that could dramatically alter things. So looking at Lincoln East as they come into this game, how they've looked this season, they're 6-2, same record as Creighton Prep. They've had a slightly easier schedule, but they can really put up a lot of points, as you see, a lot of 56s, 47s, 48s. This offense is electrifying. Even in their losses, they've scored a lot of points.
Yeah, and the fun thing about those losses is if you look at the Papillion South game, Lincoln East had 8 total rushing yards. But you look at the Lincoln Northeast game, which they won 56-14, the offense as a whole had 45 rushing yards. So this is not a team that needs the run game to get things going, and we'll tell you why once we get to our specific Lincoln East coverage.
Looking at Creighton Prep on the other side, their 2 losses, very impressive. Both the top 3 teams and both fairly close, but they've rattled off 5 consecutive wins, beating a couple fringe top 10 teams like Millard West, North Platte, Lincoln Southeast in the process. So Creighton Prep, as you said at the start, they're on a roll right now looking to continue it.
They certainly are. Their defense against North Platte held North Platte to 252 total rushing yards. That's the second lowest on the season for North Platte.
So looking at Lincoln East, their star is quarterback Noah Walters. He's a super state quarterback, and he's a superstar quarterback as well. There you see him during the warm-ups. He's had a phenomenal season. 2,807 passing yards, 38 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. He's got 5 or more touchdown passes in 6 straight games, 350 or more passing yards in 5 straight games. I mean, he's putting up numbers the state has not seen in a long, long time.
Yeah, I mean, for the year, completion percentage of 67.5%. But like we said, we looked at the losses earlier. We'll look at that again. Against Papillion South and against Papillion South and North Platte, he was under 60% completion both of those games. So if Prep can hold him under that 60% completion mark, they've got a really good shot to win this game. Of course, they got to make sure he doesn't do what he's been doing for most of these last couple of games, which is throwing touchdowns.
Now on the other side, Creighton Prep's impact player is Marty Brown. He has had a phenomenal year as well running the football. Had a 200-yard game against Millard West, had 3 touchdowns in that one. He's got 4 straight 100-yard rushing games, 196 and 2 touchdowns against Papio South last week. I mean, Marty Brown has just been the full package, and he's got another year to go after this. Just a special talent.
Already in the 1,000-yard club as a junior, and he hasn't even completed this regular season yet, averaging 6.94 yards a carry, 15 touchdowns, as you mentioned. Basically single-handedly won the Millard West game for Creighton Prep, and he's probably going to have a big game here tonight. I talked to Coach Fife, Prep's offensive coordinator, earlier today, and he said that they were going to run through Marty early and often.
So not just Brown and Walters, though, for this top 10 matchup. There's a lot of talent on this field otherwise. Cooper Erickson committed to Wofford for baseball, but he's a leading receiver in Class A. You got Malachi Coleman coming off a massive 197-yard receiving game last week. Thomas Leiden has emerged as the top wide receiver for Creighton Prep. A couple 100-yard games this season. They'll need him if this one becomes a shootout. And then Michael Barrett, defensive leader, linebacker for Creighton Prep, facing one of their toughest tests of the season against a high-flying Lincoln East offense. So
Yeah, you
Brendan,
mentioned.
who are you watching for tonight?
Well, I'm actually looking for Coleman on defense because he's got 5 sacks and 4 forced fumbles on the year. I was actually talking with senior receiver Trey Olden earlier this week. It was in class. Sorry, Mr. Hanfield, but we were a little bored. And he mentioned that he thought Coleman was going to have his worst defensive game of the year because he's never gone up. As Trey said, he hasn't met Sam Sledge yet, and he hasn't. Coleman's only about 140, 150 pounds. That's why he's so good in the receiving game, 513 yards, 9 touchdowns. But can you run him at defensive end against an offensive line as great as Prep's? And then for Prep, I'm probably watching Leiden, like you said, leading receiver for the team by far, 29 catches, 467 yards, 3 touchdowns. I'm also interested to see what another receiver, Pierce Johnson, can do, but in the return game as well. He's got 255 return yards on the year, far more than anyone else on the team. But there is a lot of talent, as you said. No shortage of it on offense or defense.
Yep, could be an electrifying game here tonight to close out the regular season. A lot of playoff implications on this one. 4th-ranked Creighton Prep, 9th-ranked Lincoln East. Coming up next on the Creighton Prep Sports Network. We're proud to have Mike Sells Omaha as our varsity sponsor. Navigate today's real estate market with a name you can trust. Mike Beacom with Nebraska Realty. Mike has over 20 years of experience in residential real estate, is a Prep alum, and a proud supporter of Prep athletics. Visit MikeSellsOmaha.com today. And Brendan, here we are, 4 minutes or so away from kickoff. Yep, Burke Stadium. Getting ready to go for this one. The most excited for a game I've been all season. This could be an absolute barn burner as Prep gets ready to take the field.
I mean, it might be the best game we've called all year.
Oh, yeah.
But I think we should go over keys to the game. I did a lot of this for basketball season. People seem to either really like them or really dislike them, but who cares? We're going for it. The keys to the game for Lincoln East. I looked at their ranked games specifically, and what I found was very interesting. Both of their losses this year, they've given up 3 turnovers. The rest of the year, they've been great. They have 1 turnover total in all the rest of their games. Total. Meanwhile, for Prep, in their 2 losses this year, they have just 101.5 rushing yards per game compared to 273 in their wins. So the keys for Lincoln East are avoid turning the ball over and make sure you get some run stops. They gave up 441 rushing yards to North Platte a couple of weeks ago. For Prep, keys are basically the opposite. Run the ball as hard as you can, as much as you can, and force some turnovers. Prep's got a lot of really good defensive backs. John Pargo's got 2 picks and a punt block on the year. Asher Anderson has 2 interceptions as well. But the defensive backs and the linebackers for both sides, really, are going to be key in determining how this game will go.
Prep getting fired up, wearing the all-black uniforms tonight. They're a perfect 4-0 wearing black jerseys. They beat Papillion La Vista 30-3 wearing the all-blacks as they run out onto the field here tonight to take on Lincoln East. Spartans heading down the staircase as well, rocking the all-whites. But But Noah Walters has just been an absolute revelation
has.
at quarterback for Lincoln East. What do you think the key might be for Prep to have their way with him? Do they need to generate pressure? Should they sit back and drop guys into coverage? What do you think should be their move?
That's difficult because the only time that they've been held under 20 all year this year was against Lincoln Pius in their first game, and you can really just chalk that up to first game jitters. So really I'm not sure there is any way to shut Walters down. I suppose that the goal would be like make sure you blanket his receivers, Cooper Erickson, Malachi Coleman, and have your guys like Asher Anderson and Jack Kirkwood make sure that they're checking the running backs out of the backfield. But really, Prep's going to have to outscore him, and that is going to come down to Jack Piernicki. He's had a pretty good year. He's probably going to crack 1,000 in this game unless something crazy happens, but he's 74 for 139 for 956 yards and 8 touchdowns this year. He has not thrown a pick in his last 4 games, which is really key for them because against Westside to open the season here at Burke Stadium, he was 4 of 22 for 2 picks. So if he's able to play like he's been playing these last couple of weeks, or even like he did against Bell West, he was 20 of 38 for 205 yards and 2 scores. If they can get a game like that from him, then Prep should win.
You saw the birdcage just moments ago. Lincoln East has brought a nice student section up I-80 as well. The atmosphere, the energy is going to be electric on and off the field tonight between these two teams. But, I mean, looking at the talent on the field, we highlighted in the pregame, we've got a quarterback from Lincoln East who's leader in Class A in passing yards, passing touchdowns. You've got a wide receiver from Lincoln East who's the leading receiver in terms of yards in Class A. On the other side, Marty Brown, top 5 among running backs in rushing yards and rushing touchdowns. There's just no shortage of firepower on this field today.
And you haven't even mentioned Jack Stessman yet.
Yeah.
It's his senior day, his final regular season game, here in Burke Stadium. 48 carries, 352 yards, 7 touchdowns. He's the second back on this team. He's got more yardage than Lincoln East's number 1 back, Jalen Welch, by almost 100 yards. He's also got 5 more rushing touchdowns than Welch. So this is going to be a game for Prep where we should see a lot of running the ball. They're probably going to open with a lot of runs, maybe some exotic formations to trick Lincoln East into some passing plays, but make no mistake, they're going to come out and play some smash-mouth football in this 45-degree weather, and it's going to be a fun game.
Admir Mukic is the kicker for Lincoln East. He gets ready to tee it up from the 40-yard line. Jack Stessman and Pierce Johnson standing at the 5 of Creighton Prep, ready to take it for the Junior Jays. As he said, cold weather, temperatures hovering in the low 50s, high 40s. And he said smash-mouth football could very well be the key to this one. Creighton Prep will have to do a lot of it to try to keep Noah Walters off the field tonight. They'll try to set the tone early as Mukic will get ready to kick things away.
That's another thing that Coach Fife said would be key when I talked to him pregame is making sure that Prep manages the clock well. They don't want Walters on the field a lot.
So there's the kick, a line drive taken at the 19-yard line. Looks like George Egan's going to go across the 30 to about the 35, and that is where Creighton Prep will get things rolling offensively. Under Jack Piernicki, the starting quarterback, he has gone 3 straight games without an interception, playing a lot of clean football lately in the month of October. And last week, run game kept it out of his hands for the most part, but when he had to throw, he was phenomenal. 5 for 8, 90 yards and a touchdown.
Yep. Also had a birthday a couple days ago,
Indeed.
So happy birthday to Jack. And we'll see if maybe the cake is a little too filling for him or if he comes out swinging.
So 1st and 10 from the 35. Prep in a pistol look with Shamar Brown behind Piernicki. Egan shifts to his left. Here's the snap. Hand it off. Shamar Brown with room. Look at that burst. He's got a quick first down on a gain of 11 yards out to the 46. And right away, the Creighton Prep ground game off to a good start.
And you could see Lincoln East was in a 5-2 defensive formation there. That's 5 down linemen on the defensive line and then 2 linebackers. That is a we know you're about to run the ball style formation. But Piernicki motioned Egan to his left. It ended up not mattering at all, and that is what you're going to get from Marty Brown, just about 7-8 yards a pop on every carry. That one he gets 11.
Yep, last week averaged 12.3 yards per carry in the win over Papio South. Here he gets another handoff, trying the right side. Look at the bounce to the outside. Marty Brown taking on a defender and getting it inside the 40 of Lincoln East with a gain of 15 more down to the 39.
There was a sign at the Creighton Prep cafeteria for a couple days last week. Marty Brown was my number 1 pick in fantasy, 6 over 22. That's a reference to Derrick Henry, of course. He might be winning my fantasy league, but if there was a high school fantasy league, you have to figure Marty Brown would be pretty close to the top pick there.
Yeah, no kidding. He had something like 47 in the win over Millard West. 47 points, that is. Here's 1st and 10 from the 39 of Lincoln East. Marty Brown again, this time on a toss, strung out on the perimeter, and Lincoln East covers him well, losing a yard back at the 40-yard line. That's one thing the Spartans have a lot of, speed on the defensive side of the ball.
It looked like that was Max Perry who came up and made the tackle. Perry's got 93 on the year along with 3 pass deflections, and that's the one thing that could be dangerous to this prep run offense is if the defensive line for Lincoln East is able to control the line of scrimmage enough to force Brown to the outside, the linebackers and defensive backs for the Spartans are fast enough to catch up with him and force him out of bounds like they did on that last play.
2nd and 11. Trey Olden goes in motion, and they'll run it with Brown again, and he's spilled back at the original line of scrimmage. Gain of only a yard on the play, and he's a little slow to get up. It'll be 3rd and 10 for Creighton Prep, likely passing situation. Lincoln East making a solid stand here on the opening drive.
You said it, they're making a solid stand, and Marty's down.
Yeah, Marty Brown is down at the 42-yard line. Looked like he got hit low on that 1-yard carry. Was slow to get up. A couple offensive linemen tried to help him up, but had to go back down, and as he's tended to, we will take a quick break. Marty Brown, fortunately, able to walk off the field on his own power. The positive thing is for Creighton Prep, if he has to miss a drive or two, Jack Stessman is a more than capable backup, but they won't be using him here. Empty backfield on 3rd and 10 from the 39-yard line.
First real test for Punicki here. He's got to make a good decision. That could set the tone for the rest of the game.
Here comes pressure. It's picked up. Pass to the outside is caught by John Pargo, and he's going to be slung to the ground by Jalen Welch. Gain of only 3 on the play. And it'll bring up 4th and 7 from the 36. Prep with decision time now. Go for it or punt.
Well, I think ordinarily the question would be go for it or field goal here. This is about a 49-yarder. It does look like they're coming out to punt. That looks like it is Luke Fenton coming out. But really good stop for Lincoln East. You mentioned them making a stand, and that defensive line we kind of underrated heading into this game, but it's got guys like Sam Capos, Trace, and Bott. They've made plays all year, and they helped do so there on that drive, stopping Prep when it seemed like Prep had a pretty good thing going.
Luke Fenton, punter for Creighton Prep, received his first offer from Missouri Western on Wednesday, as it's a flag before the snap, and it's going to be a delay of game against Prep, so they'll be backed up to the 41.
That's probably intentional, I'd have to think, given how close that the original line of scrimmage was to the end zone and how powerful Fenton's foot is. You got to figure they want to give him a little more wiggle room to make sure that he doesn't get a touchback.
Billy Stevenson is the return man for Lincoln East, standing back at the 10-yard line.
He's got 166 return yards on the year.
Sky-high punt is going to go over Stevenson's head and leap into the end zone for a touchback. So Lincoln East will begin at the 20-yard line under the leadership of Noah Walters, the Super State quarterback. 2,807 passing yards, 38 touchdowns, just 3 interceptions on the season. 11 straight multi-touchdown games going back to last year. And the only 2 games, we talked about this in the pregame, the only 2 games this year where he's thrown a pick are the games Lincoln East have lost.
Yep. And he's also a decent runner as well. 41 carries on the year for 93 yards and a score. So if Prep's defensive line wins the battle, it still might be a loss for them because you could scramble out and get some good yardage.
Billy Stevenson goes in motion as Walters throws to the outside. Catch is made by Stevenson. And Prep wraps him up well for a short gain. Gain of 2 or 3 on the play as Jonah Moore was the first to make contact with him. They'll mark it at the 23, 2nd and 7 coming up.
You and I talked about that a little in the pregame. One of the keys for Creighton Prep would be making sure that they check the running backs out of the backfield because guys like that have been huge all year for Lincoln East offense. I mean, it was Stevenson has 378 receiving yards on the year despite playing ostensibly at running back.
Here's a pitch to Stevenson. There's a flag down as he tries to get to the outside, cuts it back in, and is stood up by Kirkwood at the 27. It's a gain of 4 for the moment, but the penalty marker is down at the 20-yard line. And a hold against Lincoln East is going to bring back that 4-yard carry. So early on, Spartans behind the chains, but with their high-flying passing offense, that might not be a huge problem.
Well, they've come out in one-back sets both times, and unlike Prep, who really likes those two-back sets, especially when it's Brown and Egan or Stessman and Egan, you're only really going to see Lincoln East in a two-back set. If it's like first and goal from the inch-yard line, they really like those one-back sets. But as you said, push behind the change, and that could be a positive for them because now Walters has a lot more room to work because the safeties are going to have to respect the pass a lot more.
2nd and 19 from the 11-yard line. There's a two-back set, and they'll throw a play fake out of it, and a big hit made on the outside as the pass was floated over to Jalen Welch, and he ran head-on into A.J. Jones and Kyle Munn. Gain of only 3 on the play, and 3rd and 16 coming up.
It's a really good play there by Jones. Lincoln East went play action. They do like to run that quite a bit, but Jones read it perfectly and just snuffed it out before anything could come of it. And that's one of the things that I really like about how the Prep defense has matured over the year. If you watched the Bell West game, you saw that there were a lot of missed tackles on the edge. You don't see that anymore. This is a battle-tested group now, and they're showing that early on this first series.
Walters has great numbers on the year, but he has not seen a defense as well disciplined as Prep this year. Here he is to throw on 3rd and 16. Stepping up and out of the rush. Sledge comes in. Walters will be pushed out of bounds. Nowhere near the line to gain. It'll be 4th and 9 from the 21 as Prep gets off the field with a quick 3 and out.
There's that defensive line. You saw Sam Sledge, number 66, and Joe Keeney, number 84, get in there. They've been messing with quarterbacks all year, and they do so again, but Walters, pretty good scramble there. That is something Prep's going to have to keep an eye on. You probably can't risk wasting a linebacker as a QB spy, but for sure you got to make sure you're at least aware of his scrambling ability.
7:35 remaining in the opening quarter as Lincoln East gets set to punt. Pierce Johnson awaiting it at the 40-yard line.
Uh-oh.
Kick off to the right side. It's going to be well short, but it does take a favorable bounce for the Spartans. And it'll be down right at midfield on the kick by Gray Friesen. So Prep will begin at the 50-yard line. Favorable starting field position. They moved the ball pretty well with Marty Brown the first time out until he got hurt. So we'll see, A, if he's back on the field, and B, if Prep can get points out of this one.
Doesn't look like he's on the field. Looks like he's on the training table right now. You do hope he's okay, and it is Stessman coming in. Key for Prep here is going to be making sure they have a quick start. Both their losses to Westside and Bell West, they started really slow and were down double digits before the first quarter was over. Can't afford to start like that tonight.
On 1st and 10, it is Jack Stessman through the middle. Showing some nice bursts, getting inside the 45-yard line with a gain of 6 or 7. So Prep off to a nice start on drive number 2. They'll give him 6, taking it to the Lincoln East 44.
And as you said last drive when Marty went out, it's not necessarily the worst thing in the world for Prep because they can replace him with Stessman. Stessman, as you said there, showing the burst and getting a pretty nice gain to set up 2nd and medium. And I think this might be where Prep should try to establish the passing game a little bit because Lincoln East is going to be a lot more wary of the run than if it were 2nd and 8.
Spartans are pressing on the outside. They will hand it up the middle to George Egan, however, and he'll get within a yard of the first down as he takes it inside the 41 with a gain of 3. That's going to set up 3rd and about 3/4 of a yard for Creighton Prep.
Egan's been pretty good this year for Prep as well. 30 carries, 126 yards, 2 touchdowns for him on the year. And he's one of those guys that Prep really likes to use in their offense because he's just another element that Lincoln East is going to have to keep track of. A lot of guys on that defensive front for Lincoln East on this 3rd down, though. Got to be careful of a blitz.
3rd and 1. Pernicke tries the hard count. Lincoln East doesn't jump. Now he'll audible. Working out of the I formation. It will be Stessman following Egan and getting the first down as he corkscrews his way to the 37. Gain of 4 yards and a move of the chains for Prep.
Pretty good blocking there by Egan. You mentioned Piernicke's hard count in the audible, and that's one of his best qualities as a quarterback. He's been in the Prep system for such a long time, learned from guys like Sam Meisenberg last year. I mean, this is a guy who knows the Prep offense inside and out, and he uses that to his advantage on those 3rd and short plays with those hard counts and the audibles. Great quarterback to have under center for this Junior Jays team.
Another play out of the I formation and another run for Stessman, who breaks through a hole. Stessman stumbling his way inside the 25 with a gain of 14 yards and another Prep first down. No Marty Brown, no problem on this drive for the Junior Jays. Stessman picks up 14 more, and now Prep knocking on the door of the red zone.
Well, that's what you want if you're Prep, isn't it? No Marty Brown, no problem. That's what they've got right now because Jack Stessman, just a great runner. He's a senior, too. We thought he was going to be the starter heading into this year, took the backup role, didn't complain, and now getting his moment.
Egan straight ahead, inside the 10, down to the 6 with a gain of 17 more, and the Junior Jays are set up with a goal-to-go opportunity on their second drive of the game. 5:08 to go here in this first quarter, and Prep running it right down the Spartans' throat.
Yeah, you know what I find funny? You said in the pregame that a couple games ago, Jack Piernicky only had 90 passing yards because he was held down by the run game. Wouldn't say it was held down so much as the fact that Prep has no need really to pass the ball right now. They've only thrown the ball once all game, and now, as you can see, 3 backs in the backfield with Stessman there in the Wildcat. Here we go.
Here he comes. Stessman downhill.
Touchdown.
Fighting to the end zone. Touchdown, Creighton Prep. 7 yards for Jack Stessman, and the Junior Jays are on the board first. It's 6-0.
Well, we've been following the Stesscat, as you like to call it, basically all year long. That's something that the Prep coaches discovered in the offseason when they realized, hey, wait a second, we've got 3, maybe 4 running backs that we can trust in power situations. Why only use 2 of them? We can use all 4 at the same time. They do that there, and Stessman got a great burst, some great blocking from his fellow running backs, and just plowed his way into the end zone. Great second effort to cross the plane.
4:34 to go in the first quarter. Prep had a kicking adventure last week. Ford Hamilton able to knock this one through, though, to make it 7-0. The Junior Jays in a good position. Marty Brown, 4 carries, 26 yards before he got hurt. Jack Stessman takes over, runs for 31 yards and a touchdown. George Egan added 19 yards as well as we take a look at the replay of the touchdown.
Well, you can see it looks like Stessman might be stood up at the 1, but he just continues to fight. And that fight has really characterized this Prep team all year long. They were down 21 at one point against Bellevue West, but they fought all the way back, came pretty close to winning that game if they would have been able to recover an onside kick in the fourth quarter. And since then, the only time they've really been challenged is the Millard West game when they won 28-21. They were actually down 7 in the fourth quarter of that game before coming back and winning with only about a minute to go. And as you can see from Stessman, they got a lot of strong bodies in that backfield.
Luke Fenton will get set to kick it away. Jalen Welch and Billy Stevenson are the return men for Lincoln East. They stand at the 4-yard line. Spartans went 3 and out on their opening drive of the game after penalties backed them up to a 3rd and 16. Here's Fenton's kick. And it looks like we've got a flag. I think one of the Junior Jays might have crossed the 40-yard line early. Either Pargo or Joe Brown on that near side might have been the guilty party, so Prep is going to get backed up to the 35.
Shouldn't be too much of a problem, though. Luke Fenton is nicknamed 5-star foot for a reason, as you said, got his first offer a couple of weeks ago. And in all the games we've been watching, we've consistently seen him boot his kicks into the end zone. This is just a little bit of an extra challenge for one of the best kickoff specialists in the state.
Wind is negligible tonight. Just a slight breeze. Flag barely moving, so Fenton shouldn't have any issues with the 5-yard deficit. As he'll get ready to boot it away, this time from the 35, and this time it is done legally. Goes with a low line drive.
Uh-oh, they got to pick
That's
that up
a good
at some
one.
point.
Taken at the 10 by Stevenson, jukes past one, shakes off another, and the Junior Jays swarm him at about the 19. So Lincoln East getting ready for drive number 2 and looking for an answer to Creighton Prep's touchdown drive.
Well, as you mentioned, the penalty backed him up. The key, I think, is just going to be not getting those penalties because those are drive killers. We've seen that with Prep a lot in the past couple of years where they've just had a couple of drives that looked promising but stalled out due to penalties. And with Lincoln East, they haven't really fully committed to the pass like we expected they would. There were a lot of run and short play action plays on that first drive. If they start really throwing the ball, look out.
Walters wants to throw, had a man, but it was a little bit outside off the fingertips of his favorite target, Cooper Erickson, and incomplete. 2nd and 10 coming
And
up.
that's a rare sight, Erickson dropping a pass like that. Maybe a little out ahead of him from Walters, but one of the guys you mentioned in the pregame, Michael Barrett, was right there to stop him, even if he did catch it. In the long run, might be a good thing for Lincoln East that Erickson didn't catch that because he would have been hit hard.
2nd and 10 now from the 20-yard line. Here is Walters in some trouble. Spinning around back at the 5. He shakes off one would-be sack and is able to get to the 20 before he's brought to the ground hard at about the 23. So Walters already being flustered a little bit by that Creighton Prep pass rush, able to escape though.
Well, as we talked a little bit in the pregame, Walters is a pretty decent scrambler when he has to be, over 5 carries a game, but that is not what you want for Prep. Not only Walters running and getting some decent yardage out of it, but also the missed tackles. That's something that plagued them against Westside and Bellevue West. They cannot afford those missed tackles against such a high-powered offense like Lincoln East.
3 receivers to the near side on 3rd and 6. Walters dancing around. He's going to be hit and sacked at the 22-yard line. Sam Sledge and Rocco Marcelino teaming up for another 3 and out.
Well, those are 2 of the Prep coach's favorite guys, Sledge and Marcelino, both of them juniors. Marcelino actually has a touchdown from earlier in the year when they ran the hook and lateral with him and I believe it was Thomas Lydon. But those are guys that you can't hold down forever. And an offense that's scoring 42 points a game forced to punt on their first 2 drives.
So it'll be 4th and 8, punting situation for Lincoln East.
Uh-oh.
It's a better one this time. It's going to bounce in front of Pierce Johnson. He'll take it on a hop and try to cut to the right side. Now back up the middle across the 45. Johnson got to hold on to that football, which he does. And he's brought down at the 48. A late flag comes in. Joe Brown was in a little bit of a battle with Aiden Planer, one of the Lincoln East gunners. And they throw the flag. And judging by Coach Young's reaction, looks like it'll be against Prep, and it is.
Must have been a hold. Yep, they're calling it a hold on the PA system. Pretty good return there for Johnson. And Tyler, 2 punts on 2 drives for Lincoln East. 42 points a game. Nothing on the scoreboard yet. What do you think is going on?
Well, Noah Walters is facing a defense that has a lot more experience and a lot more discipline than just about any of the others he's faced so far this season. This Creighton Prep unit has proven this season that they're for real, and they're showing it early on, but they say you can only keep a good man down for so long. Noah Walters, all it takes is one big play to get him back into it. See what the future holds as Creighton Prep will start at the 38 with Stessman taking a snap from under center, and he'll go for 4 yards. That was interesting. They had the I formation with George Egan and John Pargo, and Stessman took the snap from under center for a gain of 4.
Well, Coach Fife did say to me that they might try and get some eccentric formations going early to try and get Lincoln East to bite on some trick plays. And as we talked about last drive, though, the Stesscats been working all year. Why screw with it now? It's the final game of the regular season, and it's been the most consistent output of yardage. Look, they're doing it again.
Yeah, from front to back, it goes Stessman, Egan, Pargo, and we'll have a whistle and a timeout for Creighton Prep with 2:19 to go in the first quarter. So not sure the situation is with Jack Pernicke. I'm looking for him on the sideline.
Well, no, he was out. He was just lined up at wide receiver.
Oh, he's a wide receiver. Okay.
Yeah, he was on the far side.
Well, that's interesting. Back-to-back plays. Creighton Prep getting a little bit tricky here on drive number 3. They found the end zone, just running it straight up the middle again and again on their second drive. But as you said, might be trying to fool that Spartan defense, which has a lot of speed and can certainly overcommit and pursue the wrong guy if you get him in the right situation.
Well, Prep, I think, watched a lot of tape of North Platte because Prep really dominated North Platte from whistle to whistle when they played them 3 weeks ago. Won 42-24. Stessman had 92 yards, 3 touchdowns. Lincoln East lost to North Platte that next week, 41-38. Brock Robley of North Platte had 240 rushing yards. His team as a whole had 441. So I think Prep looked at that quite a lot and decided, you know what, we're just going to run the ball with everything we've got at them. If they can stop it, then we'll switch it up. But so far, they haven't been able to stop it.
Jack Pernicke is the quarterback again. And he's going to hand off to Stessman on a misdirection, and he's going right through that Lincoln East defense again, inside the 40 of the Spartans with a big run. Give him 19 yards and another first down to the 39.
Well, that was just a great misdirection play, as you said. Pernicke handed it off to Stessman, big hole, and Stessman's speed, I think, is one of his best qualities as a runner because when he finds a hole, he just runs right through it, and you saw there he did it again. Lincoln East really no answer for this Prep rushing attack right now.
Stessman already at 54 yards on 6 carries. Had the game's first touchdown as well.
I formation again. Prep not going away from that, and I don't blame them. It's been working all night.
Play fake this time. Pernicke fires over the middle. He's got a man open. That's Cade Salmons taking it inside the 40. It'll be good for another Creighton Prep first down, and the offense getting a first down on just about every play so far. Pernicke has looked sharp on his first 2 throws of the night, going 2 for 2 for 14 yards.
Yeah, and the big key there was the play action. You mentioned Prep's running attack working really well, and of course, as you said earlier when the drive started, Lincoln East tends to overcommit to certain players. They overcommitted to the run there, and Cade Salmons made him pay.
Prep going with a tight formation now with Pierce Johnson on that left side. They'll toss to Stessman. He's got some space to the outside. Stessman inside the 20, and what do you know, it's another Creighton Prep first down on a 12-yard gain. The offense just continues to motor right down the field. They're in the red zone again.
Yeah, you said first down on every play. I don't think that's that inaccurate. We're getting under a minute to go in this first quarter, and after that first drive, Prep has really had no trouble whatsoever moving the ball down the field, and that's continuing right now.
2 receiver set, I formation once again. We're under 40 seconds left in the opening quarter. As Pernicke hands off, Stessman through the middle, pushing his way, not going down just yet, and getting 5 yards to the 11. That might take us to the end of the quarter. We'll have to watch that clock. 2nd and 5 coming up, though.
Yeah, 20 seconds to go. And Lincoln East is finally starting to shift stuff. They had 8 men in the box on that last play. The box, of course, being area in between the tackles, about 7 yards past the line of scrimmage. 4 down linemen, 4 linebackers. They might have to keep doing that because otherwise they just have not been able to stop this Prep rushing attack as we head to the end of the first quarter.
Yep, that's it. First quarter is in the books, and not a whole lot to complain about at all if you're a Creighton Prep fan. Junior Jays lead 7-0. Defense has forced back-to-back 3-and-outs against one of the better offenses in the state. And I'll tell you what, the Creighton Prep run game, even without Marty Brown, who got injured on the first drive of the game, has been doing just fine. Jack Stessman with 8 carries now for 71 yards and a touchdown. What have you seen from him that's made him so effective?
Well, I'd say it's not necessarily from him, which is no disrespect whatsoever. I mean, he's been running the ball well. It's just the blocking has been absolutely incredible. There's been 5-6 yards of space. I made this joke a couple broadcasts ago. I think I'll make it again. I could probably get through some of the holes they're making. And if anybody saw the tweet I made last night or a couple nights ago, you had the game-winning hockey goal a couple nights ago, and I said, boy, what an athletic commentary team we have. You're basically on the varsity for the cross-country team, scored the game-winning goal in hockey, and I play rec basketball sometimes. Like, in all honesty, Stessman's just playing great, great football. He's a really smart runner, and he's just been attacking the holes. He hasn't been trying to stretch any runs out extra. He's just been doing a good job at making sure that he's getting what he can. And right now, he's able to get a lot because of how good the blocking is. Lincoln East, I mentioned near the end of the quarter that they were doing a good job switching to the 4-4 formation. They're going to have to keep doing that if they have any hope of slowing down Stessman at all, because nothing else has worked.
It's interesting. Stessman seems to play really well against non-Omaha area teams. He had 200 yards against North Platte last year, had 3 touchdowns against North Platte this year, 2 touchdowns and 90 yards against Lincoln Southeast earlier this year. So maybe it's just seeing guys from outside the city. I don't know, but Stessman is on a roll. He'll get another carry to open up the second quarter and dart inside the 5 and lunge for another Creighton Prep touchdown. Jack Stessman with a 16-yard score, and it's 13-0 Junior Jays.
Well, what more do we have to say? I mean, you're putting the stats in right now. 9 carries, 87 yards, 2 touchdowns for Jack Stessman. We are 12 minutes and 7 seconds into this ball game, ladies and gentlemen. The first quarter just ended. That was the first play of the second quarter. I really do not know what else there is to say anymore about Jack Stessman because he's averaging almost 10 yards a carry, for goodness sake. I can't get these numbers on NCAA 14, and my running back's a 99 overall.
And oh, by the way, Stessman on pace for 350 rushing yards at this point in the game.
I think we might need to start checking some career high lists for Prep running backs because it's looking like it's going to go down that road.
Marty Brown, though, does appear to be walking around a little bit on the sidelines, which is a good sign.
He's been standing up, but as you said when he first went out, Prep doesn't necessarily.
Yeah, we've got an injured player down on the field. Couldn't see it because of the Prep huddle, but does appear we've got an injured Spartan. Fortunately, now getting up. That was Hunter Epp, who served as the main running back this season for Lincoln East. Also played linebacker and was injured on that play, being helped off the field. So with 11:53 to go in the first half, Junior Jays, with the extra points still to come, lead 13-0 on a pair of Stessman touchdown runs.
All right, so after a couple of quick looks, Jack Stessman's high for this season is 94 yards.
Need 7 more to tie that.
Yes.
Wow.
Again, it's the first play of the second quarter, folks. I cannot emphasize that enough. Prep is just doing whatever they want in the ground game right now.
Ford Hamilton, 2 for 2 on extra points after a 1 for 3 performance last week, and it's 14-0 Creighton Prep. 1 play into the second quarter, as he said. So Junior Jays rushing offense seems like it can do no wrong here tonight, and one of its biggest games of the season. And that's got to be a really great sign going into the playoffs. Prep,
Oh, yeah.
as they head into October, late October and November, they're going to see a lot of high-powered offense teams that can just control the clock. Teams like Westside, Millard South, Bellevue West, Elkhorn South. Teams that can just grind out the clock, but Prep is showing they can do absolutely the same thing and get in the end zone as well.
Yeah, Coach Fife said clock management was going to be key, but Prep hasn't really been managing the clock. All of their drives have been fairly quick because they're getting 10, 12 yards a carry.
Yeah.
And, I mean, really about a perfect game for the Junior Jays so far. If they can keep this up, this game might get out of hand quickly.
We've seen it before. Last time Prep was in a 4-versus-9 game, they were the number 9 team taking on 4th-ranked Lincoln Southeast, and they blew them out 41-7. So Junior Jays certainly have the power to blow out what is perceived to be a close game. Here's the kick from Fenton. It's taken in the end zone for a touchback. And the Spartans will begin their 3rd drive at the 20. Drive number 1 was a 3-and-out. Drive number 2 was a 3-and-out. What do you think needs to change for this Spartan offense?
I think the blocking. I know that they really like to spread the ball out and get 4 or 5 receivers, but you might need to get 2 running backs in the backfield if you're the Spartans, if only for the simple fact that 6 guys right now don't seem to be enough to block this Prep defensive line, and you got to give Noah Walters at least a little bit of time, but he's had almost none so far.
They work out of the shotgun on 1st and 10. Walters throws on a crossing pattern, and it's complete to Billy Stevenson, who holds on despite some heavy contact. Gain of 5 yards. That'll set up 2nd and 5 from the 25. And Lincoln East definitely going to have to get out ahead of the sticks if they want to avoid another 3-and-out here on this drive.
Well, even on that last play, you could see Walters ended that play. He likes to roll out left. You got a video of him in pregame rolling out left. But he was on his own goal line by the end of that play before refs blew the play dead. So he has been running for his life basically all night. Doesn't look like much change on this drive.
Oh, he's going to get buried on this play. Another sack for Creighton Prep. It's Joe Keeney getting home at the 17, and 3rd and a mile coming up again for Lincoln East.
Well, I've been saying it. You've been saying it. He's had no time at all. He still has no time whatsoever. Joe Keeney just a great speed rush move around the edge right into Walters, and he has looked extraordinarily human so far tonight, and that's just continuing.
Malachi Coleman still without a target. He's at the bottom of the screen for Lincoln East. Cooper Erickson with 1 target, no catches as they roll a delayed handoff to Jalen Welch. He's going to get swarmed by black jerseys.
Look at that. There's 10 of them right
and
there.
Taken down at the 20-yard line. Another 3-and-out forced by this Junior Jays defense, and they should get great field position out of it as well. Spartans will have to punt from the 20.
Well, you could see the ball pursuit there on that last play. Actually, really good play design by Lincoln East to run the counter draw play to the other side because all the rushers were coming after Walters. But the ball pursuit of Creighton Prep's defense is among the best in the state. You could see, as I said by the end of that play, about 10 black jerseys within 5 yards of where the ball was. Uh-oh.
Punt is deflected. Bouncing up in the air. It's going to be picked up by Rodino. He's got green grass in front of him, and it's another touchdown. Special teams making a play for the Junior Jays, and it's 20-0 early in the second quarter.
Wow. I mean, I said about a perfect start for the Junior Jays so far, and nothing about that defensive possession gave me cause to change what I have said. I mean, Good grief, was that John Pargo again with his second
There
of
were
the
a
year?
couple guys back there. I mean, Junior Jays just having their way early in this game. Still 9:52 left in the first half, and they've got a chance with this extra point to go up by 21. Ford Hamilton off to a 2-for-2 start on PATs. And you can make it 3-for-3. 21-0 as we catch our breath up in the booth, Brendan. I mean, Creighton Prep just has Lincoln East on the ropes. This is a very similar start to what we saw in the Lincoln Southeast game.
Yeah.
Opposing offense, sputtering, going 3 and outs, defensive pressure getting home, and then the offense on the other side just marching right down the field.
I like the Papillion La Vista game more because that was
punt block.
Yeah, that was the punt block game. That was when we were up 21-0, I think, in the first quarter in that game before we kind of shut everything down because we were up 21-0 and they weren't doing anything on offense. But the defensive line of Prep, I know Jack Stessman's got 9 carries, 87 yards, 2 scores, but you got to give the game MVP to them because they have been all over the field. They drew the holding penalty on the reverse on Lincoln East's first drive that forced the eventual punt, and they've had a sack or two every drive since then. This is just an incredible defensive effort, and Lincoln East is looking bad. I'm not sure how else to say it, but they have done nothing on offense, and on defense they've gotten the one stop, but that's looking more and more like a fluke as this game drags on.
Still can't count them out, though. That offense can hit big plays at any time, but you got to wonder, are those big plays even going to be possible with the pass rush doing what it's doing for the Junior Jays, as this kick from Luke Fenton is driven into the end zone again for a touchback. So Lincoln East trailing by 3 touchdowns early in the second quarter will begin yet another drive. They've gone 3 and out on all 3 of their previous ones.
And what's really great about this game is it's mostly the seniors making the plays. Stessman's got both rushing touchdowns. Rodino's a senior. Most of the sacks by guys like Ryan Carney, Joe Keeney, they've been by seniors. There are seniors all over the field for this Prep team, and they're making their presence felt early.
Rodino gets a break after the punt return touchdown as John Pargo is in at safety with Michael Palmisano. 1st and 10 at the 20. Walters in the gun. Play fake, quick strike, and it's through the hands of the intended receiver. That was Billy Stevenson again. And that's the second time we've seen Walters try to sling one with high velocity, and it goes right off the hands of his target.
Well, Michael Barrett was right there, too. Don't count out Barrett's role on the play. He was right there. Probably would have knocked the ball out even if it had been catchable. Uh-oh. Oh, another drop.
That one intended for Cooper Erickson and incomplete. And another 3rd and long is coming up for Lincoln East. They're yet to convert on a 3rd down. 0 for 3 so far tonight.
We did wonder if the cold would be a factor heading into this, considering that cold is generally bad for passing offenses. So far, it certainly has been.
Spartans went up tempo. Passes in the air and intercepted. John Pargo at the 34-yard line on a deflected pass. And a nightmarish start for the Spartans. The Junior Jays will take over in prime scoring position again.
Jeez Louise. I mean, did you see Pargo after the play? He was angry with himself because he tripped up a little bit after the dive for it, but good grief, they're Prep starting in at the 34. There's still about 10 minutes to go in this game, and Prep is already probably about 4 plays from making it 28-zip.
John Pargo has been a turnover machine this year. That was his 4th interception of the season, which leads the team. He also leads the team with a couple of punt blocks and was in on that last one as well. As we've got some whistles here before the snap, Prep will go back into the huddle. They begin the drive at the Lincoln East 34. Both of their touchdowns so far tonight offensively have come from Jack Stessman, who has 87 yards.
Well, Tyler, normally I'm the predictions guy, but what's your prediction for this play?
I'd probably go with good old number 22. And
hey,
there he is, Stessman, right side, inside the 30, inside the 25 with another 1st down carry. And there you go, you mentioned his season high earlier in the game. He's just broken it on his 10th carry.
Wow.
10 carries, 98 yards now, and 2 touchdowns for Stessman as Prep will set up with 1st and 10 at the 23.
All right, here's my prediction for this play. Hand off to 22. He's going to go left. He's going to get the 1st down. He's going to set him up with the 1st and goal inside the 10. Then the next play, he's going to score his 3rd touchdown of the night.
You're going full Tony Romo here.
Oh, yes, I am.
Stessman, left, inside the 20, inside the 10. Why not another touchdown for Creighton Prep? Stessman with the first half hat trick, and it's 27-0.
I'm sorry, folks. I was wrong. I said it would take him 2 carries. It only took him 1. Good grief. There is nothing at all that Lincoln East can do to stop this Prep onslaught right now. And it's a shame that those wild card standings don't take margin of victory into account, because if they did, you might have to move Prep up into the top 3 after this.
So Jack Stessman now 11 carries, 121 yards. That's 11 yards per carry and 3 touchdowns. We have only played 15 minutes of football tonight. That's Ford Hamilton, already his 4th extra point try. He's getting plenty of reps, and he's having no problems. 4 for 4 on PATs, and the Junior Jays have a 28-0 lead. We'll take a look at the replay. Stessman's 3rd touchdown of the night.
Well, you can see takes a snap, breaks left, and there's just nobody there. Lincoln East just, I don't think they're taking the right angles or something, but maybe they're just underestimating his speed, but for some reason, they just have not found the right angles to cut Stessman off at any point tonight, and that's the danger of bringing that 4-4 formation up, which they had on that play, because you saw it yourself. There's one safety left, and if he can't have the angle on Stessman, that's all she wrote, folks. And right now, all she's writing is touchdown Prep, punt Lincoln East, touchdown Prep, punt Lincoln East. It's 28-0, and as you said, 9:03 to go in the first half.
And that offensive line has been fantastic as well for Prep. Stessman really not seeing any contact until he's 5 or 10 yards past the line of scrimmage.
I think his lowest run of the night might be 5 yards.
So here's Fenton's kick. Another line drive. This one will be returnable. It's Billy Stevenson across the 15 and hit hard. Junior Jays all over him at the 20-yard line, and Lincoln East now with a mountain to climb, trailing by 28, will start yet another drive.
You know what's funny? I was joking with Luke Heck earlier. He's one of our media team members, as well as the 3rd stringer on this team, and I told him, hey, you might get in tonight, and he said, nah, I'm not getting in. It's senior night. They're going to keep burning the whole night. And I said, well, you never know. If we blow them out by 30, they might get in there. You might get in there. So, Luke, get ready to go in, buddy.
1st and 10. Walters, quick throw. Billy Stevenson making the catch. And a good start to the drive sees Lincoln East get 6 yards on the pitch and catch. It'll be 2nd and 4 from the 26. Stevenson already with 3 grabs on the night.
Well, he's been the main guy out of the backfield. He's got 22 catches on the year. That's actually 3rd on the team, and he's been really useful out of the backfield for him. Not tonight, though, because Prep's linebackers and defensive line have just been swallowing everything up.
Quick pass. Catch is made. This is Luke Greason out on the perimeter getting to the 30. That should be good for a 1st down. And for the first time tonight, Lincoln East will move the chains on a 4-yard completion. 1st and 10 at the 30-yard line. And Walters, when he hasn't seen pressure, has been pretty good. He's off to a 5-for-5 start, 22 yards of passing.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's been pretty good, but the issue is, really for him, that he just hasn't had a lot of time to throw deep, because that's been his bread and butter all year. But he just hasn't had enough time to look downfield and find open receivers.
Jalen Welch on a perimeter handoff is chased down by Rocco Marcelino for a big loss. Lincoln East will be backed up to the 27-yard line, loss of 3 on the play, and it'll be 2nd and 13.
You mentioned Walters has been pretty efficient when he's been throwing it, 5 of 5, 22 yards, but he's averaging 19.6 yards a completion this year. So he likes to throw the ball deep. That's what he does. He simply has not been able to do that. He's only averaging 5 of 5, 22. He's only averaging 4.4 yards a throw.
On 2nd and 13, he steps
Here
up
they
and out of
come.
pressure. Look at that pursuit by Owen Shodkowski to get the sack. All the way back at the 15. Lincoln East will have 3rd and 25 after that one.
What great speed of that. That speed makes him pretty good at the ping pong table too, right, Tyler?
Oh, yeah, I know all about that. Owen Shodkowski can do it all, and there he is getting the sack. 3 sacks already tonight for the Junior Jays.
And as you said, 3rd and 25, all of these sacks have been huge because they forced Lincoln East into just really bad field position. And it's a lose-lose for them because now you've got to throw it deep, but you can't throw it deep because Prep is going to rush you and they're going to get to your quarterback before you have a chance.
Prep's corner's playing way off the line. Here's a quick throw.
Good
to
tackle.
Stevenson, and Michael Barrett is all over it at the 19-yard line. Gain of just 4 yards. 4 drives, 4 3-and-outs for Lincoln East.
Well, no, they did get a first down on this one.
Oh, yeah, they did, but they moved it all the way back. It felt like they didn't. Yeah, they did get a first down, but the Junior Jays pass rush did it again, and now they'll have to punt. Last one was blocked and returned for a touchdown by Rodino.
I mean, I've been saying, uh-oh, on all 3 punts. First 2 they got off. Third one they didn't. We'll see what can happen with this one.
Malachi Coleman laid onto the field. And now he's ready to go. Here comes the punt. This one is away cleanly. It will bounce. Johnson is going to field it with a defender
was dangerous.
right in front of him. He's able to hold on to it, though, and set the Junior Jays up at the Lincoln East 46-yard line. And Jack Stessman has been the man, 121 yards and 3 touchdowns already. And he's back in that huddle, ready to lead the Junior Jay offense. Jack Pernicke has only had to throw it 2 times tonight. And Prep has 28 points.
Yeah, and not only that, but he hasn't had to throw it because they haven't been put in a field position scenario where they would need to throw it deep to get some yardage. This is the 3rd straight drive. They're starting inside the Lincoln East 50, so.
1st and 10, Lincoln East 47-yard line. Prep rolling out of the pistol here on 1st and 10. 5:50 to go in the half. Play fake. Pernicke with time. Loaded it up deep down the field. And is it caught?
It is.
Pierce Johnson. No, it's incomplete. He had it for a moment. There was tight coverage, but forced incomplete, and it'll be 2nd and 10.
The play action continues. I mean, we've seen the play action work on that pass to Cade Salmons earlier, and that's really all Prep has to do in the passing game now because Lincoln East is so concerned with the run that they can't afford to not bite on that fake, because if they do, it's going to be Jack Stessman getting another 10 to 12 yards.
So here comes 2nd and 10, 5:40 remaining now in the first half. Press coverage, the top of the screen on Leiden.
I like this narrow trips formation. That gives Prep a lot of options in the backfield.
Stessman straight ahead, making a cut inside the 40. And he lunges forward to the 39.
Whoa.
What the heck happened back there? A Junior J went to the ground, George Egan.
Yeah, it was Egan. He looked like he...
No flags, though.
Yeah.
8 yards on the carry, so it'll be 3rd and 2. Ed Hubner runs out the field. Pierce Johnson takes his place.
As I was saying before this play, I mean, the narrow trips really gives Prep a lot of options because there's more blockers now. It's not just Egan in the backfield. Now you've got those 3 receivers there, and Egan's one of them that's able to make some good blocks on the edge.
Stessman again. 1st down again as he takes it down to the 34. 5 more yards for number 22, and there we get a late flag. Things might be getting chippy. Lincoln East obviously got to be frustrated with the way they've started this game. And twice now, back-to-back plays, we've seen
a little bit of extracurriculars.
There you go, and that one's on Prep. So the 1st down should stand as the flag was thrown after the play.
It depends on what it was, because the way Prep's huddling, it looks like they might be calling a hold.
I saw a personal foul signal.
Yeah.
They're going to be backed up to the 49. Only question is
yeah, they are moving the sticks, so I think it's 1st down. But yeah, definitely a little bit of chippiness, and you got to wonder how much of that is for Stessman still being in the game.
1st and 10, Prep back to the 49 now.
A lot of guys in the box.
Stessman again, breaking through inside the 40. He's got another 1st down as he takes it to the 38-yard line for a gain of 11. That puts him at 145 rushing yards now in the night.
Still 4:45 to go.
Out. He's in a crouch down there. Might be a little bit shaken up, and now you got to wonder what's the availability of Marty Brown. Is he ready to come back? He's sitting on one of the trainers' tables right now, and it looks like John Pargo is going to be the running back of choice for Creighton Prep. So everybody getting some work tonight with the top 2 dogs going down.
Well, do you really need Stessman to give you any more at this point? I mean, 14 carries for 140-plus yards and 3 touchdowns. He's done about all this team has asked of him and more. He can take a well-deserved rest for the rest of the game if he has to.
John Pargo, 1st carry of the game, trying to show that burst, and he's slowing down to the ground. Standout track athlete versus standout track athlete as Malachi Coleman got him for a loss of 1.
And Stessman's coming back in, so it does look like that play was just a a little bit of a stinger, maybe a bit of a cramp. We actually saw Marty Brown come back from a cramp in that Millard West game to catch the game-winning touchdown pass. And now here you go. I formation for Creighton Prep. I wonder what's coming, Tyler.
2nd and 11. It is Stessman taking on a defender. Lincoln East bottles him up pretty well, but he's able to get 5, setting up a more manageable 3rd and 6. Stessman now at 149 on the ground.
All right, the offensive line has just been spectacular for Creighton Prep. Lincoln East has gotten no push from their defensive line, and the main reason that Stessman got held to 5 there was because that was when the defenders were finally able to meet him. And he's just had free reign basically all night, and George Egan's done a great job of blocking too. He's in there again in the I formation.
3rd and 6, just 2 receivers. They're at a stack at the top of the screen as they'll toss it to Stessman. Spinning his way, he was on top of a defender, and I think that allowed him to get a 1st down as he picked up 6 yards.
And there's 150 plus.
Yep, and indeed it's going to be a Creighton Prep 1st down as Stessman takes it to the 29 and takes his rushing yardage total to 155. So 1st and 10 coming up. Pierce Johnson comes back into the game. Under 3 minutes remaining in the first half. A first half that has been dominated by the Junior Jays. On senior night, they lead 28-0. 3 touchdowns on the ground for Stessman. 1 on a blocked punt by Sam Rodino.
Still 2:40 to go in the half.
George Egan, straight ahead, sidestepping tacklers and getting another 1st down. Prep is right back into the red zone. They might have to start building a home there or something because they have been frequent inhabitants. 14 more yards for Egan. 1st and 10 coming up from the 15.
Well, Stessman did get banged up a little, but he's still running. We talked a little bit about Prep kind of having a running back by committee given all the talent they have in the backfield. And now this game is starting to seem like it's just, hey, you want to turn to score a touchdown? Okay, go ahead. You want to turn? All right, cool. I mean, that's really what it is. They have not left that I formation basically all night long.
Egan, straight ahead into a pile of humanity, gain of only a yard.
First
Actually,
good run stop of the day.
They might give him no gain on the play, as it'll be 2nd and 10 from the 15. 1:45 left in the first half, so if nothing else, this is chewing the clock down for Creighton Prep, not giving Lincoln East a chance to go back down the field and get points before the half.
Yeah, and clock management, the coaches did tell us, would be a key, and really the reason they've managed the clock so well is because Lincoln East hasn't had a chance to really manage it. It's been at most 7 plays before they've had to give the ball back.
Stessman is ripped down in the backfield. Pernicke wants a face mask call. There is none. And it's going to be a pretty significant loss for Stessman.
Yeah.
-3 on that carry will bring the Junior Jays to 3rd and 13.
Looked like Prep was trying to run a counter play there, but Connor Keyshawn, among others, was doing a great job at reading that play. About 3 guys got through their blocks. That's the first time we've seen that all night for Lincoln East, and they're able to make the play. So now you have to leave the I formation, 3rd and 13. This is definitely a passing down, even with under a minute to go in the half.
2 receivers right side. They'll roll in that direction. Pernicke with a nice sidestep. Slings it to the end zone for Olden, but that's out of his reach. And
into the sand.
Yep, into the sand pit. Incomplete. It'll be 4th and 13 with 45 seconds left. And Ford Hamilton, who is perfect on 4 extra point tries so far, should get another opportunity here.
Well, he's 3 of 7 kicking field goals on the year, as long as from 42. This will be from about 36, 37. So this is definitely makeable for him, but as you alluded to a bit earlier in the broadcast, had kind of an adventure last week.
1 for 3 on extra points, 1 for 3 on field goals at Papio South a week ago.
But as you said, he's also been perfect so far.
Yep.
Maybe that'll continue here.
35-yarder. Snap good, hold good. Hamilton puts it through the uprights. And it's 31-0 Junior Jays with 45 seconds left. So Prep continues to build on their lead. Lincoln East will get the football to start the second half, and they will have some time if they want to try something on this final drive of the first half. But Creighton Prep can't ask for much more out of them.
Yeah, what else is there for Lincoln East to try, really? They can't fully abandon the pass with 45 seconds left, but the pass has been, at best, 4 or 5 yards a pop. if that, and that's assuming that Walters has enough time to get the ball off before he gets buried, which he hasn't really had a lot of those occasions here in this game. So it's going to be a long halftime talk in the locker room for the Spartans because there's a lot of issues that need fixing right now.
Noah Walters, 6 for 6, 26 passing yards. He hasn't tried to throw anything more than 5 yards down the field.
He hasn't had the chance.
Hasn't had time to, exactly. Took the words right out of my mouth. Leading receivers, Billy Stevenson, who's got 4 catches for 19 yards. But
it's not that Walters hasn't wanted to. He's just been,
no time. Yeah.
And there's also been a couple of drops. We've seen some drops from guys like Cooper Erickson and Malachi Coleman. They've been open at least somewhat. They just haven't been able to hold on to it.
Low kick will be returnable. This is Billy Stevenson from the 2. Trying the left side and meeting a host of prep defenders at about the 15. That's where Lincoln East will start yet another drive. They have just 37 seconds to work with, but all 3 timeouts at their disposal. And their top 2 wide receivers coming into this game, Cooper Erickson, who's nearing 1,000 yards, Malachi Coleman, who's a phenomenal speed threat on the outside. Neither of them have catches up to this point. So we'll see if Lincoln East tries to get those 2 more involved as they look to march down the field in a hurry. 1st and 10 at the 14. Walters slings it to the outside. Catch is made. This is Jalen Welch making a cut. Has to get out of bounds, and he does not. Official on the near side tells the clock operator to keep it rolling as Welch is able to pick up what looks to be 9 yards on the play. 2nd and 1 coming up.
Pretty good play there by Welch. They like to get him the ball in space. He's got 8 catches, 176 yards, 2 touchdowns on the year. But that's one of the only times we've seen them have time to throw it to the outside and get a man going. Other than that, it's been
dropped,
all prep.
Incomplete. There are only 4 seconds on the clock, so Lincoln East, I don't know if they didn't know the clock was running or if they just don't really care about moving the ball down the field and getting points, but they let that clock wind, and now with 4 seconds left, it's 3rd and 1 as that pass was intended for Friesen. Junior Jays looking like they're going to be playing well off the line here before this 3rd and 1. Walters has a big arm. Not sure if they'll try to throw long or set something up short and try to provide some run after the catch.
You might as well throw long. You got nothing to lose here, really.
Walters rolls left. He is looking deep, fires, and it's juggled and caught. Now they'll have to try to make something out of it, and they won't. Junior Jays all over Luke Greisen on the outside, and we will go to halftime with Creighton Prep ahead by 31 in a top 10 matchup here in Class A. It's Prep 31, Lincoln East nothing here on the Creighton Prep Sports Network. Stay with us for the Creighton Prep dance team performance for the first time this year, and we'll be back in about 15-20 minutes for the second half. Come to Creighton Prep for our annual open house on Sunday, November 7th, anytime between 11:30 a.m. and 2 p.m. Students will get a personalized look at classes, clubs, and athletics, in addition to seeing parts of campus like our brand new Land and Learning Commons and high-tech Tomorrow Labs. 7th and 8th graders can also check out our website for opportunities like shadow days and info nights. Visit CreightonPrep.org/admissions to learn more. Tyler Reedy, Brendan Preisman back with you here on the Creighton Prep Sports Network. And Brendan, top 10 matchup. We thought it'd be close, but here we are in a 31-0 game.
I mean, I was talking to some people on the sidelines, and they said, if you told me it would be this score at halftime, I would not have believed you. I don't think anyone would have believed you. We expected a high-powered offense coming into this game for Lincoln East. Instead, they have punted or turned the ball over on every drive. And, I mean, there's really not much else to say. About perfect first half for Creighton Prep. About as bad a first half as you could get for Lincoln East. And normally at halftimes we talk about what changes the teams need to be made for each team. For Prep, it's nothing. For Lincoln East, it's just about everything. There's really not much for me to say, which kind of sucks as a color commentator, because now I guess you get to just let you talk.
Yeah, so I'll do a little bit of talking here, recapping the first half if you're just joining us. Marty Brown, Creighton Prep standout, 1,000-yard running back, injured 4 carries into the game. I went down to the field, talked to him at halftime. He has an ankle injury. He's done for the day, so Marty Brown just going to have to heal up, try to be available next week when Prep starts their playoff push. But Jack Stessman, he took over and was absolutely dynamite for the Junior Jays. 17 carries, 152 yards, and 3 of Prep's 4 touchdowns scored by Stessman. The other one on a punt block and returned by Sam Rodino. So Creighton Prep, defense has been phenomenal. They've got 3 sacks. Offense, running game has been fantastic, and then special teams making plays as well. They're putting together the whole package going into the playoffs.
They certainly are. And offense, defense, special teams, everything's working. Offense has now 3 touchdowns. Special teams has 1 off a blocked punt. Defense has several sacks and has forced nothing but punts so far. And even the Brown injury ended up not being that serious. Had to go out after, the 4 carries for 26 yards. But Jack Stessman, 17 first half carries for 152 yards and 3 scores. There is really nothing more to ask for. Even the moon is looking great tonight.
Yep, so chilly night, full moon, Creighton Prep just all over Lincoln East. I want to ask what you saw aside from the pressure from Creighton Prep on Lincoln East offensive side of the ball. What did you see from them? And Noah Walters obviously didn't have a ton of time to throw, but what did you see from him in that passing offense when he did have a little bit of time?
Well, I saw that the short passing attack seemed to be working really well. A lot of slants, a lot of in routes, a lot of swing passes to the outside to running backs. Those were working pretty well. The issues there came from the Prep linebackers because they have not let anything get by them today whatsoever. Michael Barrett especially has been a holy terror on defense throughout this first half, and it's meant that they haven't had a lot of opportunities to really work those short passes and maybe get a couple broken tackles and a big gainer out of it because Prep will not allow them to do that. So the linebackers, I think, for Prep have been the secret best players. And then we talked about the O-line in the first half, but it bears repeating. Jack Stessman has had a lot of time and a lot of space to run through. And he's been taking full advantage of that, sure, but this is about the most wide open I've seen the field for a running back since really ever.
Yeah. That offensive line for Prep, they're a young bunch. They've got a lot of juniors, maybe 1 senior, but they're a young group. We knew coming into the season that they had a lot of talent, but they would need time to develop and really get their feet underneath them, and it sure seems like they have. Marty Brown has had 4 straight 100-yard games. Now Jack Stessman with a 100-yard performance. Prep passing attack hasn't had to do much. Jack Pernicke just 2 completions, 14 yards. And then special teams, Ford Hamilton has had a much better night, going 4 for 4 on PATs and making a 35-yard field goal. Lincoln East will get the football to begin the second half, and at this point in the game, do you think there's got to be a full-on sense of urgency for them?
I think there should have been a sense of urgency as soon as Prep made it 21-0.
Okay.
I think that they tried that urgency, and they immediately got punched in the mouth, and now I think they're just trying to get home as soon as possible. I really don't think that this is a winnable game at this point, especially given how good the Prep rushing attack has been, and I think for Lincoln East it's just a matter of, well, we don't want this to happen to us again, so what happens if we run into a team like Prep in the playoffs? What can we do to avoid another situation like this?
Yeah, no matter what happens, even if Lincoln East were to win this game, they would be going on the road next week in the playoffs. So obviously Spartans going to have to learn from what has happened in this first half tonight and try and come out next week because they're in the playoffs no matter what. They're going to have to try and come back and get off to a much better start because that has doomed them here tonight. 31-0 Creighton Prep as Luke Fenton gets set to kick it away.
And you mentioned Marty Brown with 4 straight 100-yard games. You could argue this would have been 5 if he hadn't been hurt because he had those 26 yards on the first drive. So really the line and the running backs and even the quarterback, Jack Piernicki's 2 of 3, or 2 of 4, I think. So no complaints for anything at all as a Prep fan.
Kick is going to be returned by Billy Stevenson across the 20. Joe Brown gets the first hit on him at the 23, and that is where Lincoln East will begin their first drive of half number 2. Only picked up a couple first downs and did not cross midfield once, did the Spartans in the first half. Noah Walters on pace for by far his worst game of the season. Only 47 passing yards in that first half. No touchdowns, no interception. Well, actually, 1 interception. Pargo picked him off.
Did have the tipped one.
Yep, Pargo did intercept him once. We mentioned Lincoln East 2 losses are the only 2 games Walters has thrown a pick in. And he'll start with a design run, read option, as he breaks out of a tackle and crosses the 25 to the 27 for a gain of 4.
Well, we did see on their first drive that the Walters run looked like it could have amounted to something. He had a carry of 4 yards to start the game and then a carry of 9 yards a little bit later. But that Prep defense has recovered quickly. And the front 7 has just done a really good job at giving Walters no time at all to do really anything at all.
2nd and 6, Walters to his left. Here comes Carney. Walters slings it on the run and bounces it incomplete for Luke Greason. And
we've seen him do that a lot.
Yep.
Not necessarily the slinging it incomplete by any means, but the help,
Yeah.
I'm running for my life.
Good.
Please, someone
It's
get open.
It's like Mahomes in the Super Bowl at times. Ryan Carney got the pressure on him that time.
Well, except Walters doesn't throw crappy interceptions.
No, not really. Only 4 of them on the season.
Yeah. Mahomes, though, should we talk about your boy for a little bit?
I wouldn't say they're bad picks. Have you seen half of them have gone off the receiver's
Did you see the
hands.
one where he threw the ball as he was getting sacked?
Anyway.
No, this is not an anyway.
Hey,
We need to talk about
3rd and
this.
6. Save the NFL for Sunday. Here's Walters retreating, setting up a screen. It's caught by Welch across the 25 to the line of scrimmage and barely any further. It's going to be 4th and 4. Creighton Prep holds again. And is this go-for-it territory for Lincoln East? It is not.
No.
They're going to punt.
No coach would be foolish enough to give Prep the chance to start from the 29-yard line. This is a situation for Lincoln East where you at the very least try and delay Prep scoring because it doesn't look like right now they're able to stop them.
So on 4th and 4, Lincoln East will indeed punt. After the 2-yard completion to Welch, it's a solid kick. Pierce Johnson from the 38 gets ahead of speed.
Uh-oh.
Across midfield, Johnson has a blocker in front. Johnson inside the 20. Touchdown, Creighton Prep. A punt return score. 2nd special teams touchdown of the night for the Junior Jays. Pierce Johnson goes 62 yards for the touchdown.
Wow.
That's all there is to say, right? Wow.
No, yeah, I mean, this is looking a little bit too much like that Super Bowl last year. Just sheer dominance by one team and sheer help from another because, I mean, I was originally going to say about that return that Johnson has been making a lot of risky catches. He's been catching it when defenders are pretty close to him, and then he got 10, 15 yards, and I was going to say, oh, okay, he's a pretty good returner, and then he found the edge, and it was like, oh, he's going to do this. Okay.
4 to Hamilton for the extra point. That is up. That is good. He's 5 for 5, and it's 38-0. Pierce Johnson on the season now has a rushing touchdown, a receiving touchdown, and a punt return touchdown. Prep has 2 touchdowns off of punts tonight, 1 on a block, 1 on a return, and their lead is 38 with 10:25 to go in the 3rd quarter.
I mean, it feels like I'm a broken record at this point. I've been saying the same stuff on repeat. Lincoln East has to give Walters more time. Prep's just doing a great job running the ball. Prep's defensive line is doing a great job at getting pressure. I mean, you want to just record me for a little bit so I can go watch the game with the birdcage for the rest of this?
Yeah, looking at some scores around Class A as well. North Platte is tied with Columbus in that other matchup that could shift things quite a bit in this one. 21-21 between North Platte and Columbus. Millard South, top team in Class A, leads Burke 14-7 in another top 10 matchup. Obviously, we've got the 38-0 game here, and then Elkhorn South is ahead of Lincoln Southeast 14-3. Elkhorn South is 4th in the wild card standings at the moment. Prep is 6th. Millard South tied at the top with Westside, but if Millard South beats Burke, they will jump ahead of Westside since Burke is a higher quality win than Westside playing Benson. Here's Fenton's kick. Low line drive. Taken in the end zone. They'll say Welch had a toe over the line, and Lincoln East will start at the 20-yard line, 1st and 10. Spartans continue to scuffle offensively. They had another 3-and-out on their opening drive of the second half. Punted it away. Pierce Johnson took it to the house. And now facing their largest deficit of the game, Noah Walters takes over in the gun. He hands off. Some space to work for Welch. He's across the 25 and to the 28 with a gain of 8 yards, setting up 2nd and 2.
I mean, you mentioned desperation mode at halftime for Lincoln East. I think what they should maybe try to do is establish the run a little bit more, and at the very least get some breathing room for Walters, because the runs, as we talked about a little bit, they've been okay, and certainly not as spectacular as Prep, but Lincoln East run game has been pretty solid throughout the night. If they try to establish the run, that at the very least opens up some areas for play action.
Walters hands off. They'll get a 1st down as bouncing through the hole is Jalen Welch. Gain of 5 on the play out to the 33 and a move of the chains for the Spartans. And Lincoln East will go up tempo now.
Another run.
Welch again, up the middle. Dragged down by Barrett at the 42. That's a gain of 9. It'll set up 2nd and 1. Jalen Welch seeing a lot of action here to start the second half. He's up to 22 yards on 5 carries.
Well, they might as well keep this up. Prep hasn't been able to stop it.
Finally, Malachi Coleman makes his first catch of the game, and all over him is Jonah Moore with a tackle for loss. He loses 2 on the play back to the 40, and it'll be 3rd and 3. They run it up the middle. Welch on 3rd down goes nowhere. Might have gotten half a yard, but that's it. And now 4th and about 3 coming up for Lincoln East from the 40-yard line.
Well, the run game finally stops working, and reason it stopped working for Lincoln East is the same reason the pass game stopped working. Creighton Prep's defensive line is just outplaying Lincoln East's offensive line, and it's not close.
So Lincoln East is going to punt again with 8:30 to go in the 3rd quarter.
That's Aiden Morey returning, not Pierce Johnson.
Yep, sure is. This is a knuckling punt that Morey fields cleanly. Makes the catch on the run and is brought down at the 39-yard line, and that is where the Junior Jays will take over with a running clock. Ahead 38-0. The clock is rolling. 8:10 to go in the 3rd quarter.
And they still do have the starters in. They did that against Lincoln Northeast as well. They kept the starters in for a couple more possessions after the running clock. Coaches probably are trying to balance a little bit between running up the score and making sure that your number 1 guys get enough reps for the playoffs coming up.
Stessman is still the running back. As Prep will go with a 3-receiver set. Johnson, Olden, Leiden from left to right. Jack Kirkwood is in as well at tight end.
Interesting going the 1 back considering how well the I formation worked.
Here's a screen. Leiden cutting through the middle and taking it across midfield for a 1st down. Gain of 11 yards for Prep's leading receiver on the season. He's a little bit slow to get up. And he's going to limp off the field. So Leiden, on his first catch of the game, takes it for 11 yards, but at what cost? We've already seen Marty Brown go down with an injury. He's out for the rest of the game.
And that's another thing that you have to consider with the starters is you want to make sure everybody else is healthy for the playoffs, because relying on your backups against the top 4 teams in the state is not a formula for success.
On 1st down, it is Stessman up the middle, bouncing outside. Look at him shake off defenders. Ran right into Kirkwood, it looked like, blocking down the field. Stessman able to take it for what looks to be an 8-yard gain, setting up 2nd and 2 from the 41. Stessman now at 160 rushing yards tonight. Second and 2 coming up from the 41.
Ooh, they got a 2-back side by side. That's another way to get a blocker in there. And it allows for more play action looks as well.
Screen pass, Aiden Morey. He's quick, and he's able to break out of the pack and get the first down at the 37-yard line. Gain of 4 on the pitch and catch. And the Junior Jays move the chains again, but we've got another injured player. This time it is a Lincoln East defender. On the far side of the field, they'll take a look at him, and we'll take a quick break. Welcome back to Berg Stadium. Prep leads Lincoln East 38-0. 6:20 to go in the third quarter. Junior Jays have 1st and 10 at the Spartan 37-yard line. Tyler Reedy and Brendan Prizeman with you here on CPSN. On first down, it's going to be Pernicke to throw. He steps up with pressure coming. He gets spun around, going in the wrong direction, and 4 white jerseys converge to get the sack way back at midfield.
There's the blitz for Lincoln East finally working. You said 4 white jerseys. Yeah, 1-back set. And that's the danger of having a 1-back set when you've been so heavily reliant on the run game. Lincoln East is now basically treating every play as a run until proven otherwise. So they sent a lot of guys down the field to try and get into the backfield. And when it turned out that it was a pass, Pernicke had no time to do anything except hold on to the football.
2nd and 23 from the 50. Pernicke making a change at the line. He's got 2 receivers at the bottom of the screen. He'll hand off. Stessman straight ahead.
Oh.
Barrels through a defender for a gain of 10 or 11 inside the 40. Stessman continues to build on his big night, and it'll be 3rd and relatively long for Creighton Prep.
Probably a passing down here, you'd think.
Yep, 3rd and 12 will be the number.
But then again, they've been averaging about 10, 12 yards a carry, so maybe this is still a running situation. Who knows? What's Stessman at now?
19 for 171.
Jeez Louise.
They go back to the I formation. 3rd and 12.
Single coverage and no deep safety, so there is a good chance that they're going to look to take a deep shot here.
They will toss to Stessman. And what do you know? He's going to get close to the first down. There is a flag, though, at the 34. Stessman was able to pick up 10 yards on the carry, but will it come back? It will.
Yep, holding.
Holding against the Junior Jays.
So that'll make it 3rd and really long.
See Tom Masitis and John Pargo come into the game here for this 3rd and long. As it's going to be
3rd and 20-ish?
and 17. As they spot the ball at the 45-yard line. So Pernicke will operate from the double shotgun with Stessman to his left and Pargo to his right.
Probably going to look to have a play action pass here.
He is going to throw.
Oh, the wheel route's open.
Sensing the pressure. He goes down the field. Pargo's there. He makes the toe tap catch, but he stepped out of bounds. But the Junior Jays will gladly take the first down on a gain of 25 yards. John Pargo got lost in that coverage.
Well, that's the same play, I think, that they ran against Millard West to win the game.
Yeah, with Marty Brown.
Yeah.
Sure looked like it.
Just the wheel route wide open, like right there for him. You had some updates at halftime for the other Class A games. Currently, Millard South and Burke at halftime right now. It's 21-7 Millard South. Christian Nash with 86 yards and a touchdown on the ground for the Patriots.
Here is Stessman from the 20. Sidestepping a couple. taking on a defender to the end zone
Oh,
again.
my goodness.
4 touchdowns for Jack Stessman, a new career high, and it's 44-0.
Wow. I'm not going to say anything else because there is nothing else to say.
Jack Stessman is having a night. 20 carries, 191 yards, 4 touchdowns.
One of the things you find a lot of fun is looking at other schools' broadcasts of our games and listening to them call him Jack Stressman. He's certainly causing a lot of stress to Lincoln East right now.
I've heard Jack Stressman. I've heard Jack Sussman. Whatever you want to call him, he is going off tonight.
Jack the touchdown machine.
Ford Hamilton with another make on a PAT, and it's 45-0 with 2:59 to go in the third.
While we hit the break, let's talk about another sport, cross country. Congratulations to Prep's varsity cross country team, finishing third at state today behind Fremont and Millard West. Dennis Chapman, the sophomore for Prep, got 8th with a time of 16:21.6. Ethan Weber and Sam Malik, both seniors, finished in the top 25, as did Colton Schmaderer. He finished 24th, and then John Burns, Cade Neubauer, and Robert Nizzi all finished in the top 52. Congratulations to you guys. Great seasons for all of you. And Denny, good luck next year. It's going to be your team now with all those seniors graduating.
2 years left.
Yeah.
Man.
And then Gabe Heinrichs of Elkhorn South set the meet record, or at the very least set the meet high with a 15:18 time.
Yeah, he was the all-class champion. Beat everybody in Class B, Class C, Class D.
Oh, Class C, it was close, though. Carson Naker had a 15:19 to set the Class C record. But certainly an entertaining day up in Kearney. Certainly an entertaining night here at Burke Stadium as well, especially if you're a Junior Jays fan.
Much warmer day in Kearney, too. I heard it was 75 there today.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Only 55 here. Here's Fenton's kick with the Junior Jays up 45. Taken at the 10-yard line as Lincoln East has a new set of return men. And they're getting some success out of it. There's a cut to the outside. Fenton might have to make a tackle, which he's done several times this year.
There it is.
Indeed, he wraps up and makes the play on Tyler Schnace at midfield.
So that was a really nice play there by Schnace because much like running backs have to do, he was patient. He didn't try and run right through the hole and make something happen. He just waited and waited, and when he saw that the gap had opened on the right side, he took it and had a pretty darn nice run. Best field position all night for Lincoln East. This is farther than the offense ever got.
1st and 10 at midfield. Lincoln East has not run a play from Junior Jay's territory today, as Walters will fire one deep down the field, and it's just off the fingertips of Luke Greason and incomplete. 2nd and 10 coming up.
Our receivers have had a really tough night. If it hasn't been getting tackled immediately after a catch, it's been having a ball glance just off their fingers. Just a rough night all around for Lincoln East.
So 2nd and 10 coming up from midfield. One of the few times there that we've seen Luke Walters try a pass more than 5-10 yards down the field.
Looked pretty accurate, too. Greason definitely had a chance at it, just couldn't come down with it.
Here he is to throw again.
Pressure
on the way. He slings it as he's hit, and it's incomplete. Incredibly tight coverage there on the far side of the field.
That was A.J. Jones. Great play from him, making sure that Walters couldn't get that pass complete. And you mentioned the Super Bowl last drive, and that's what it's looking like. That looked a little bit like that one play where Mahomes ended up parallel to the ground before ball doinked off his receiver's helmet.
That was Cooper Erickson, the intended target, as it'll be 3rd and 10.
I don't think he's got a catch tonight.
He does not.
He's only 26 yards away from 1,000, and now there's a real concern for him. He might not get there tonight.
Walters rolling left, accurate on the run. A nice
throw,
but Pargo got a hand in there to knock it away. What an effort by Pargo, who's having another great defensive game, as the pass was intended for Luke Greason, but Pargo, who has an interception tonight, makes a great play to break up the pass, and it'll be 4th and 10.
I mean, Greason ran a great route there, too. It was a great throw, great route. Even got his foot down in bounds, but you said it was Pargo who ended up making the play, and now this is definitely 4-down territory. You thought last drive might have been it for Lincoln East. It wasn't, but this part definitely is, especially on this part of the field. You got to get something going.
Walters in the shotgun. Just 20 seconds left in the quarter. He's going to look to throw. He slings it, and it's juggled and caught by Erickson. I don't think he got the first down. He fell forward, but
I
Did
think
not
he's short.
fall forward enough. It's a gain of only 9, and
Oh,
it's Creighton
boy.
Prep football.
So still no plays run in Prep territory for Lincoln East. And we're about to head to the fourth quarter.
So Prep will take over at their own 41, holding a 45-0 lead. And we're proud to have Mike Sells Omaha as our varsity sponsor. Navigate today's real estate market with a name you can trust, Mike Beacom with Nebraska Realty. Mike has over 20 years of experience in residential real estate, is a Prep alum, and a proud supporter of Prep athletics. Visit MikeSellsOmaha.com today, and tell you what, as long as this game keeps holding the way it is, visit Burke Stadium again next week, as the Junior Jays are going to have a home game, and looks like they'll be taking on Grand Island as long as all the scores hold in place as they are right now.
Why do you always get the ads?
I don't know, you want to read one or something?
Sure.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, you'll have the game to yourself next
Yeah.
week. I'll be out of town, so read all the ads you want, big fella.
Yeah. Oh, I will. Can I make up my own ads? Oh, yeah, we're going to
What
have
ads?
Alex on
What
there. You
ads?
forgot about Alex.
Alex, too, yep. Maybe he can get in on the ad
No,
action.
no, I haven't had any ad action yet. I
Okay.
mean, that could be my last
We've
broadcast
Well,
for
we've
football. I got to
we've
get
got-
some ads
We've
in.
got basketball season 2, and who knows, maybe we'll have 50 different sponsors by the end of basketball season.
Oh, we better. We're pretty darn good at this broadcasting thing. And Sam Stessman's now in for the Junior Jays. No relation to Jack, I don't think. Right?
Have to check on that. Here's a carry up the middle for 3 yards. Set up 2nd and 7.
Yeah, all the backups in now.
2nd and 7 from the 44, as I believe that was Pargo on the carry.
Looks like Andrew Jopa in at running back now. And I think it was Colin Holbert as fullback, too. So it's Stessman and Jopa in the backfield now in the shotgun.
2nd and 7 from the 44. It is Jopa picking up 3 or 4 yards. It'll mark him down at the 48, so it's a gain of 4. Junior Jays will have 3rd down and 3. As you see, a lot of substitutions being made. Creighton Prep getting the full level of backups in.
Got to make sure you get all the seniors in as well, because this is senior night. Last regular season game a lot of these guys are going to play in. Got to make sure they get some action before they go off and graduate.
3rd and 3, Prep goes to the I formation. 10:50 to go in the 3rd quarter. Stessman will
Oh, he kept
take it
it.
himself. How did he get out of that? There was a defender right there, and he ended up hitting Holbert. And Stessman broke away from it. He's got the 1st down. Gain of 7 yards, taking it to the Lincoln East 45.
Going back to the NCAA 14 analogy I use, that's when you get a defender caught up on you. I mean, didn't you quit NCAA because of a glitch like that?
Oh my gosh.
I got an interception on you one too many times, and you said, you know what, I'm never playing this game again?
I don't know. I prefer calling football
Yeah.
video games over playing football video games. I'll say that.
Because you're bad at them.
Well, fortunately, I think I'm all right at calling them. So
Well,
I'll take
yeah,
that
you're
instead.
great at calling them, but like, why not be great at both like I am?
1st and 10 I formation from the East 45. It's going to be
Ooh,
a play
a
fake.
pass.
Stessman rolling.
Oh, he's going to run for it.
Sprinting, running. He's going to pick up 2 yards. To the 43-yard line, setting up 2nd and 7 or 8.
And it's kind of interesting to see how little the offensive game plan has changed, even with all the backups in. That's one of the reasons that guys like Piernike and Stessman have been so successful, is because the prep system as a whole really doesn't change from the time you're a freshman. It's a lot of power run based, maybe some play action and some rollout for the quarterbacks passing the ball, but it is mostly running, and you can see that here even with all the backups in.
They continue with the I formation on 2nd and 7, and it's Jopa again.
Ooh.
Makes a cut. Andrew Jopa fighting for every yard. He's close to a 1st down. I think he's going to be a half yard short.
Yeah, they're not moving the sticks yet.
So it's going to be 3rd and about a yard or so as Jopa manages to pick up 6 yards. 9 minutes remaining in the 4th.
It's 10-10 between Papillion La Vista and Gretna at halftime. I don't think
Oh, okay.
that affects anything, right?
No, it does. Gretna is ahead of Prep in the wild card standings.
Oh, that could be big
Yeah,
then.
Elkhorn South is 4, Gretna is 5, Prep is 6, and that was a game that we thought would be a foregone conclusion with Gretna winning, but maybe not. As here's a handoff. Holbert gets the 1st down, plunging his way to the 34. Gain of 2 and a move of the chains for Prep.
8:30 to go, and what could be the award-winning commentary team's final football broadcast. It's our senior night too, Tyler. What do you want to do to celebrate?
No, we'll figure it out. Fortunately, we'll have plenty of time with the running clock.
Yeah, should we get some plays on the field? Maybe? I don't know.
We should shout out another senior on our crew. Cole Mack is down on the field running field camera. Here's Sam Stessman pulling it out of Jopa's belly and taking it for 4 yards down to the 30. It'll be 2nd and 6. Prep getting everybody involved on the ground game.
Well, hey, might as well be us. I played football for 2 years. I know the plays enough, you know.
2nd and 6 will be coming up from the 30-yard line. Was running back your position? What was your position?
Oh, no. I was quarterback, and then they realized I couldn't throw the ball more than 25 yards downfield, and they're like, no, get to tight end, dude.
Could have been a game manager. I mean, you've got a good brain.
That's about my only good quality. That's what my last girlfriend said to me when she broke up. You got a good brain, but nothing else.
Here's a forward pass to Morey. They're going to get Jopa for some kind of holding penalty as Morey is swung out of bounds. This is going to come back, though, as it is a holding against Jopa.
Of course, I'm just joking about the girlfriend thing. That never happened. Because, as I always say, can't get broken up with if you're never in a relationship. Am I right?
That is true.
Am I right or am I right? Come on, give me a fist bump at least for that. That was good.
Prep going to be backed up. Question is how far. It's going to be the 45-yard line, so 2nd and 21, as it was a 15-yard penalty against Jopa.
Ooh. What position did you play in football? Did you ever play?
I played flag football. I was on your team that 1 year.
Oh, yeah.
You were the center, and
yeah, I was a
receiver.
pretty good center, but I am not big enough to play offensive line. I'm not fast enough to play receiver, so they were just like, we'll stick you in the middle.
Here is 2nd and 21. Prep is still in the I formation. They toss it. Jopa with a nice catch on that outside flip. There he goes. Switching it to the right side. Jopa with a stutter step. A first down and a run inside the 20.
What a great play by Jopa.
It all started with the toss. It was a little bit out of his reach, but he managed to reel it in. Kept his composure enough to make a cut back to the right side, and you saw the speed and the elusiveness as well, getting 26 yards in a first down.
That was just a great cutback from Jopa. Kept his head about him, didn't worry about losing the ball, just caught it and ran with it, and ended up being very successful. I mean, you could say caught it and run with it is the theme of the night for Prep because that's all they've been doing, and it's been working really well.
I formation, 19-yard line, 1st and 10. Jopa again. Inside the 15, Jopa to the outside. Gets a good block from the receiver, Lanfear. He's still on his feet. Jopa gets very close to the end zone, but a couple yards short. Still a great run. 17 yards, 1st and goal coming up.
We were both there for the Lincoln Northeast game, and I cannot fully express how disappointed the student section was that Andrew Jopa's touchdown at the end of the game was called back. And you can bet that might be in the back of the coaching staff's mind here on 1st and goal from the 2. I think they might try and do everything possible to make sure that Jopa gets that end zone trip, especially on senior night.
1st and goal from the 2. Jopa one more time, and he's going to be slung down in the backfield for a loss of 1. Good penetration from the Spartan defensive line. It'll be 2nd and goal from the 3 as the clock ticks under 5 minutes remaining.
We've seen a lot to like from Jopa as well. Like, we said the running back room goes 3-4 deep. It might even go 5 or 6 deep considering how well the backups have moved the ball down the field.
2nd and goal from the 4. I formation. Lanfear and Masitis are the receivers. Jopa, once again, trying for the end zone. He's going to be 2 yards short back to the original line of scrimmage, and it'll be 3rd and goal from the 2.
And you can hear the student section chanting one more time. They want this touchdown for Jopa as bad as he probably does.
They're going to bring Mara Kuschak into the game for Joe Brown. 3rd and goal from the 2. I formation again. Jopa, the running back. Masitis and Lanfear, the receivers to the right.
Got to make sure the offensive line gets a good push.
Jopa.
He's in.
To the end zone. Touchdown. Andrew Jopa from 2 yards out, his first career varsity touchdown, and Creighton Prep leads it 51-0. They're going crazy down on the sidelines. How about that?
I mean, that might be everybody's favorite part of the night. I just saw a sweatshirt thrown up by the Birdcage. They are overjoyed, but that's the beauty of a senior night blowout is you get things like this. And you just got to feel great for Jopa. First career touchdown was the bell cow on that drive and showed a lot of really nice skill in various facets of the run game. That's just a great scene.
Ford Hamilton looks to continue his perfect night of kicking. He's 6 for 6 on extra points and 1 for 1 on field goals. High snap. It's
No
placed
problem.
well, and Ford Hamilton drills it through. That was a nice hold by Luke Heck, the third-string quarterback. And
Hey, he finally got some action.
Hamilton makes the kick. He's 7 for 6 on extra points, and it's 52-0 Creighton Prep.
It's going to be weird going into media class next Monday and hearing Luke, who's a sophomore, talking to me like, hey, I got more varsity snaps than you did in your career. Admittedly, I was very bad, but like...
I don't know if you saw. He played a little bit of quarterback in the Lincoln Northeast game. He saw a couple snaps, had a 20-yard run. So Prep has been able to get everybody involved. The schedule has really lightened up late in the season. This game was supposed to be an exception with Lincoln East being a top 10 team, having one of the very best offenses in the state, but Creighton Prep is firmly proving themselves as a top flight team in the state of Nebraska.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean,
they've already played Westside and Bell West close, and, I mean, they're blowing out a lot of fringe top 10 teams.
Yeah, I mean, they almost beat Bell West, probably would have if it wasn't for a couple of big plays and a Marty Brown fumble in the first quarter. Westside, that was really a throwaway game. That was
week one.
Yeah, probably first game jitters for most people. But, like, ever since then, they've just been dominating everyone they've played.
Fenton's kick taken from the 8. Out across the 20-yard line and out of bounds at the 24. So Lincoln East will start there. We'll see if Noah Walters continues as quarterback. He's in danger of losing a couple of his streaks. He had 11 consecutive multi-touchdown games coming into this one. That goes back to last year, and he has no touchdown passes tonight. And had 5 or more passing touchdowns in 6 straight games. That streak is obviously gone. 350 or more passing yards in 5 straight. Only has 56 yards tonight, so Walters in danger of losing those 3 streaks. He'll throw to the outside here, and the catch will be made by Greason, who spins off one would-be tackler.
Got a first down, I think.
At the 36, yep, gain of 11 yards. So Walters up to 67 passing yards now.
What else should we talk about? Should we talk about the Creighton Prep hockey team being tournament champions a couple nights ago?
Yeah, there's that too. Fall Freeze champions, preseason tournament.
Pretty good start. What do you think about their chances at state this year?
Well, defending state champs.
Yeah.
Got a lot of key players from last year coming back, including our goaltender of the year award winner coming back, as that pass is incomplete. No flag. It'll be 2nd and 10. But yeah, the hockey team's got a chance to run it back, and
so does the golf team.
Golf team as well.
Yeah. Plus the hockey team.
Past the football team.
Hockey team's got their star center Tyler Reedy returning for his senior year. I mean,
don't look
he's
past
pretty
the
solid.
football team though.
Oh, I'm not.
Looking for their first title since '04, and they're looking as good as we've seen in a long time.
A lot of people who watch these games, at least I hope a lot of people who watch these games read my recaps. Those are on jjournal.org. But like I've been saying, you know, Prep could really make some noise in Lincoln for the past couple of weeks.
Walters deep, and is it caught?
That
went
was
through the
beautiful.
hands of Mahoney, who was in a better position. Riley Mahoney got his hands on it, but
looked like it was Billy Stevenson.
With great
I think.
concentration, Billy Stevenson makes the catch, and that's a big play. 29 yards and a first down to the Prep 35.
Best play of the night for Lincoln East, and finally get to run a play in Creighton Prep territory. Too little, too late, but at the very least, they're going to come away knowing that Walters' accuracy on the deep shots is still where it needs to be.
Here's Walters to throw, 1:25 remaining as he fires a fastball down the middle.
What a catch!
Catch by Greason. Can he get to the end zone? The answer's no. He's tackled at the 1, but what a throw and what a grab as Greason survived the contact and took it for 33 more yards.
You got to wonder how much this Prep defense cares about the shutout. I can't imagine it's too big of a deal for them. The offense has put up 52 games well in hand, but going into the playoffs with a shutout, that's a lot different for your mentality than going into the playoffs with a 52-7 win. A shutout, as you say, hey, you know that Lincoln East team that scored 17 plus in literally all their games? Yeah, they didn't score a touchdown against us.
So it's going to be first and goal at the 1. There's a little bit of a delay here. Not sure if there was a penalty after the play. There's a conversation on the Lincoln East sideline. Football still sits at the 1-yard line. And we have a timeout for Lincoln East. 51 seconds on the clock. It's 52-0. As the Spartans will have first and goal at the 1 after hitting a 29-yard pass play to Stevenson and then a 34-yard passing play to Greason. So the offense still putting in their best effort and finally finding some success in garbage time.
Yeah.
See if they can break the shutout.
Should we talk about the basketball team, too? They got a pretty good chance to go to Lincoln this year.
Yeah, I saw the tweet earlier today, just 24 days remaining until the official start of the season in terms of practices. So, yep, basketball right around the corner. But football, that's going to be the main focus because this could be a deeper playoff run than we have seen, you and I, in our time at prep.
Oh, yeah, this football team is by far the best I've seen. And that's not just me flattering all my fellow seniors. This is genuinely the best I've seen a prep football team play since I've been here.
East was moved back to the 16, so it's
must have been unsportsmanlike conduct or something.
First and 10 from there. Here's
Uh-oh.
Walters. Oh, my goodness gracious. Paul Mazzano just absolutely crushed Billy Stevenson, and you got to hope he's all right.
Yeah, he is.
That was a massive,
Good grief.
massive hit. It was a gain of a yard on the play. I think Paul Mazzano's lucky there wasn't a penalty called. He flexed right over Stevenson. But, man, that could not have been an easier hit for Paul Mazzano. He had the receiver's back turn to him and was coming downhill at full speed and absolutely drilled him.
Jeez, he's still down on the field. You really got to hope he's okay for that.
Yep, so 2nd and 9 will be coming up, and got to hope Stevenson's all right, and we will take a quick break. Welcome back. Fortunately, Billy Stevenson looks to be okay after taking that massive hit from Paul Mazzano. Gain of 1 on the play. It'll be 2nd and 9 as there are 54 seconds left in the fourth quarter.
If you're Lincoln East, you got to hope he's okay for next week.
Yep.
Meanwhile, other events, Lincoln Northeast down 21-3 currently to Elkhorn South, and Gretna now leading Papillion La Vista 13-10.
Okay. Close game still there. Here's Walters looking to throw. Steps into it, a rainbow to the end zone, and that might have been a miscommunication. As Erickson went one way, the ball went the other. Good coverage regardless from Riley Mahoney. Clock continues to run. 30 seconds left as it'll be 2nd and 9, or make it 3rd and 9.
Elkhorn is currently leading Scott 26-13. That's more Class B. That's not really our speed, but that's still a fun football game, I think.
Oh, those are two pretty high-level teams.
Yeah.
Here's 3rd and 9, 15 seconds left. This could be the final play of the game. As Walters fires, end zone shot. Erickson makes the catch, and the Spartans will not be shut out tonight. That's a 15-yard touchdown strike.
He just out-physicaled Michael Palmazzano for that ball. I'm surprised that there wasn't a flag on that for pass interference because it looked like Palmazzano just might have got shoved from behind or something.
The clock is at 000.
Yeah, I can't say I agree with that call, but
there's no time on the clock here as it's 52-6. Looks like they're still going to do the PAT.
Yeah. It's good for Lincoln East to, at the very least, have one good memory on the bus ride home because other than that, it has been a rough day for them. Here's
the extra point. It is up, and it is through. But that's it. Ball game over. Creighton Prep ends the regular season with a bang. 52-7 the final score as the Junior Jays take down 9th-ranked Lincoln East. To close out the regular season, they finished it with a record of 7-2, and now they wait for their first opponent of the playoffs, likely to be Grand Island, but still some things to sort out. Some other games have to finish up first. Brendan, any last notes here on this one?
Well, this is more of just a thank you to all our viewers. Throughout the past 3 years, it has been one of the great privileges of certainly my life, probably yours as well, to be able to call these games with you, talk prep football and writing and on our podcast. But this has been an incredible ride. It's not quite over yet. Hopefully it won't be over for a while. But thank you all for coming along on this ride with us, and we hope you'll tune in next week for the first round of the playoffs.
Yep, and for me, unless something crazy happens next week in terms of upsets, this is about it. I will be in South Bend next weekend visiting Notre Dame as Prep takes on whoever they take on in the first round of the playoffs. So that was most likely my final football broadcast here on CPSN, and it has been an absolute blessing to be able to do this for the past 3 years. Brendan, you're an amazing football mind. I can't think of a better color commentator to do this with each and every week.
I can't think of a
that.
better play-by-play guy as well. This is really the favorite part of my week most weeks, is doing the research and then coming to these games, having it all pay off, especially on a night like this. Just great win for all of our fellow seniors. A lot of guys we know pretty well. And this is really the culmination of our prep football careers as well. You never really had one, and I had a 2-year one that got cut short because I was very untalented. But, you know, this is just great to see. It's been great to do this with you. Hopefully we both can continue doing this, not just for basketball and the spring sports as well, but into college as well. But thank you to the fans so much for tuning in. Thank you to Mr. Razgorchek, our faculty moderator, for all your help and everything you've done for the team and our broadcasts. Thank you all so very much.